Welcome to the Lean CEO podcast, a series focused on giving you ideas how to move from traditional to holistic enterprise and begin to manage a company as a whole. Join us as we learn insights and lessons straight from the audio and today's most impact-oriented holistic enterprise leaders. Hi, Monica.
Hi, Laura. So nice to see you again.
You too. You too. I was so looking forward to talk together about your journey in Nordea Bank. And the reason why I wanted to invite you as our guest to the Lean CEO podcast is that it is quite a rare phenomenon to have a person who's been, as I say, at both sides of the bridge. The visible side, which is operational excellence, process design, org structure, different control systems, standards, and then the invisible part, which is the cultural transformation. And from what I see around the world in different companies, there is seldom a company who has both things in one, like under one umbrella. Yeah. And actually Nordea has it. So I thought I want to ask you, how does it feel now to be able to understand both sides of the bridges? How does it look like for you, that cultural transformation, when you know how the visible and invisible looks like? Could you share your experience?
Yeah. Well, it is quite interesting. And as you said, I started with kind of the visible part. And then moved over to the human part of it, the change we at Nordea need to make or are making. And I had not realized how important. I mean, I had some sort of a thought because I moved over to that, the cultural part and the human part. But it's the key. It is the absolute key for the hard stuff to work, because it's about the mindset. It is about, the world outside. It is really, it's volatile, it's ambiguous, it is uncertain, it's complex more than ever. It is moving so rapidly. So what it means for us as human beings now, we need to have a certain mindset. We need to be flexible and resilient, resourceful. And in that, it actually challenged us as human beings. My values, my core values can be, kind of triggered by it. And that has a direct impact on the visible stuff, the processes. And, if we need to be innovative, I as a person might stand in the company's way for reinventing ourselves if I'm not aware of my own stuff.
That's strong.
So it's the absolute key.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's really, really strong what you've just said, that I can be in the way as a human being suddenly, with my inner world or inner leadership. Okay. Yes. Yeah, really interesting. Normally, that cultural transformation, because we can't touch it, we can't see it, so it can be really difficult for the CEO to understand, so what the hell Monica is doing. She's a cultural transformation coach. What are her visible responsibilities? What is her role? How does she know that these people, the group of people, the entire enterprise is moving where we need to move it? Could you elaborate more about your role and try sort of to make to our listeners more visible?
So, my role is basically to create high performance within the company. And then when we look, sometimes traditionally, when we look at high performance, we think about operational excellence, right? Yeah, it's like, really efficient processes, for instance. But often what I see my role is that I can surf it. I can see that there's maybe there's conflicts. Maybe there's some sort of a disturbance, blockers in teams, in leadership teams, for instance, or in, I can have a blocker as a leader. I'm not even aware of it. So what I do is that I help with tools and coaching, and I do, sessions with teams, team development, team transformational journeys, to highlight, to bring up, okay, so what is it that's really standing in our way for making ourselves, reinventing ourselves if we want to do that as a company? Look upon how the business transformation. To be able to succeed with that, we actually need to have a culture as, the collective behavior that promotes the actual change we want to make. And my role is to bring that kind of stuff up to the surface, what is really standing in our way. What are some of the initiatives that we need to do with the people and with the leaders to be able to unlock the blockers, unleash the potential? And we have different kinds of methods and models and all that. But when it all comes down to it, it is the behavior.
Wow. So it is the behavior.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's what so I work with the awareness with the leaders, bringing some sort of an awareness about myself and leading through my values and awareness about what I value, and also my needs, and being aware, so self-awareness, because the change starts with the I. Yeah. And then how I affect the other people around me, the collective, and also highlighting, looking at what kind of norms do we have within the company? Okay. What have we now made normal? And is that behavior helping us, or is that behavior not helping us? And if it's not helping us, we need to do something about it.
I see. I really enjoy listening to you because I feel so much passion for that.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes I have this question in my mind where I can't figure out whether it's, egg or chicken when talking about cultural transformation, because some customers are asking, should it be the key enabler for, driving the change, for making sure that we work as one system holistically, or should it be a deliberate process which we put in our transformation or integrate in our transformation when we want to achieve a higher customer value, to be more effective, more innovative, and etc. So I kind of sometimes have difficulties myself, to figure out how to balance between these two, because I'm sure there is no, clear answer. But is it situations where you see that the roots of the traditional management system, where we have different silos, conflicting targets, measures, bonus systems, that they are actually destroying the human being?
Yeah, it sounds like a leading question, but a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it was.
Yeah, no, I can see where you come from. I would say that historically we have had a management, or maybe a leadership, that's been more control and command. It served us well back in day, right? When the world wasn't so maybe complex and moving so fast, and we didn't have to be so moving with the world as we are today. And so that's why I think that it challenges us as human beings, as leaders, when we need to think differently. We're used to a control and command set a way of managing, and sometimes we're actually setting ourselves up for failure, if you were to use that, when we have KPIs, measurements that measure is silo-based measurements. Well, it's actually you get what you measure. And if you measure, if you as a leader are measured on, okay, well, you should have all these deliveries, and it's the amount of deliveries, then you focus on what you're measured on. Maybe not what is the connection to the whole picture. So I think that we might be shooting ourselves in the foot sometimes when we have measurements that are not really conducive for moving the company as a whole and the holistic forward.
Okay.
So I would say that being a transformational leader today is more important than ever. Creating that clear vision, saying we are now moving towards a more maybe customer-centric in a way where we need to think outside the box. We need to be more innovative, and also being a transformational leader is enabling others, the servant leadership. And I am not important anymore as a leader, and that might be scary, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not the center anymore. I'm not the one. It's the actual people that should be in the center. And I see that from time to time that is a challenge. Okay. And that's why the self-awareness is so important, to say, okay, I need to look at myself here.
Yeah, exactly, and try to understand what kind of rooted beliefs I have in my mind, so I still hold on, to the visible part the way I do. Okay, Monica, I'm sure that many CEOs are listening to us, and maybe some of them are as well thinking that, oh, okay, I have HR department and I have process or operational excellence department, and they're probably wondering, oh wow, if I would like to have someone like Monica, cultural transformation coach, who is working, as you mentioned, on the mindset, on the behaviors, on questioning the norms, on bringing the awareness, what kind of competences a person who needs to drive the cultural transformation? I mean, I'm sure that you are not the driver, probably like the coordinator, the managers who are driving, or leaders, but the one like you who are helping them out. What kind of competencies that person should have for the purpose to succeed? Because it can be tough, We've been with the journey with you as well. Sometimes when we meet some ego persons who are holding to the chair, and that's normal. Yeah. And sometimes it can be really, taking away all the energy. Yeah. So what kind of competencies cultural transformation coach should have, in your opinion, in order to succeed?
Oh, so for me as a coach,
yes,
I would say using yourself as a tool. Okay. So anything that I teach others or coach others on, I've been through myself. So I investigated myself a lot, and I continue to develop. But some of the key things are basically learning to let go of my ego.
Okay.
Learning to let go of or being aware of what is holding me back, and listening to myself. That has been it's so transformational for me. And it has allowed me to step into a different kind of, I'm finding more peace with myself and acceptance of myself. And that has been the absolute key for me as a transformational facilitator and coach. So then what I would say with regards to the leaders and maybe a CEO, I would say a real open mind and deep listening to what is needed. And then the self-awareness. What am I now? Maybe I am having these thoughts and that something is not possible. And I think something is a challenge. And then the mindset of default, what is another way of looking at it? What is a different way of looking at it? Is it really the truth that I'm telling myself? Or maybe I can look at it another way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So sort of trying to bring a contradictory question around it, right? Yes. In order to have the space for your own thoughts to somehow, have a different understanding about what I just thought. Yeah. What I think you mentioned, those three things I will try to sum up. It is that you worked with yourself very, very much. And you've been through the journey yourself. I think this is the fundamental because it brings a transformational coach the integrity. And you instantly can see whether a person is integral or not. Does she or he, talk what she or he mean, or they talk one thing and then they, think the different thing. And these things you can smell in the ear around it. Yes. So I guess it's really important to hire people like you who've been through that journey themselves and who actually are always on the road of developing and trying to look at themselves differently. So I just highlighted that. Yes. Because I think it's really important. And when do you sometimes maybe feel the inner conflict in your role? Because we are all human beings and we all have, worse days and dark days, as I say, and sometimes some self-doubt. So what kind of inner conflicts and when do you have them?
Yeah, so interesting. I have a few inner conflicts, and I go back to it's something that I discovered about myself. And it's this thing about not feeling good enough, and it coming back over and over again. It's a pattern that I have, not feeling good enough. And then so here's the struggle. When I don't feel good enough, and I have a fear of others not feeling that she's not doing her job good enough or something like that, I can tell myself if I do more, I will prove that I'm good enough. And this was a profound discovery that I had because I have a coach as well. And she says to me, it's like, Monica, did you know that when you have a pattern of doing more when you have this, and it is a behavior that, do you feel that is serving you, or is it actually holding you back? And in that, maybe holding others back. And I'm going, wow. I don't know.
What an insight.
Yes. So I looked at it, and absolutely, yeah. It was this on over and over again. And then I just discovered that, you know what? If I do less, I actually do more. If I slow down, I actually do more. I have a greater impact. So I can find that's my inner struggle. Okay. And I've come a far way, but I still, we're full of patterns. And if we're not aware, I don't know if you have this, it's like, oh, here I go again. I go again, back in the same patterns.
I had this realization last night, Okay. Monica, do you think leaders should have a coach when they are enabling the cultural transformation themselves? is it a prerequisite for the CEO, for his senior team, to have a coach with whom they could work individually in privacy? What do you think?
Well, in my experience, I see it as a very, very good tool. It's an enabler, because what happens is that you can, if you have trust, you have to have trust. And so it needs to be as a leader, you need to feel comfortable with the person that's coaching you. So that's number one. Number two is just having a transparent, as a coach, open environment, and also that it is in full integrity, it is full confidentiality. So yes, I do think that is important to have as a senior leader, because also there's things that you don't want to be taking up in the team. You don't want to be saying of your inner, maybe sometimes you don't want to say of your inner stuff in the team. Maybe you should, but you're not there yet, right? Mm-hmm. Then you can get the help from the coach to maybe unlock some of your stuff that you have in you that's holding you back. And especially in leadership teams, I see that there's a profound difference when the leader of the team becomes vulnerable, becomes real. It just drops the room like this. It opens up for everybody else to it creates trust. And then it's kind of allowed for real stuff to be talked about, real conversations to be had.
Yeah, so suddenly we close the door to the theater and the reality opens up.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yeah. And what kind of recommendations you could give for the CEO or the business owner who deliberately wants a different kind of management system with a culture as the key enabler, to reach the prosperity, to have this healthy business, and for himself or herself as well to have a healthy life with a balance, if that is possible? So what kind of steps you would recommend him or her to take in his leadership path?
Yeah. I think the key is be very clear on what is expected. What is it? What are the behaviors that I would, as a leader, would like to see? Not only that, also to be clear on where we're going. What are we trying to achieve? What are our core values? What are we gathering around? So because if we have that guiding star, things gets much easier, because then we can start enable our people by giving the work back to the people. As a leader, I don't even have to be in control. I don't have to be in control. I can have my people. They can do the work. I just need to be enabling them, empowering them, right? So I think it is. It's one of the key. So clear where are we going? What are our values, our core values? What are the behaviors that are connected to those? What is the expected guidance that we would like to give our people? And storytelling.
Wow, what it is? Okay, what it is storytelling then?
Yeah, what is storytelling?
Yeah.
So I would say storytelling is, it could be to promote good things that are happening. That was really, really good what you did there. We have this really awesome story over here that we would like to highlight. But also storytelling on challenges that I faced, but then as a person, and showing myself as real.
Wow.
So having these transformational stories about personal transformational stories.
Oh, that's powerful. Yeah.
Yes, because I've seen it I've had sessions with senior leaders, with high up leaders, where they bring themselves. It's a room full of 100 people. They're sitting there and they're being trained in what we expect the culture to be. And every time the room kind of drops and we're like, oh, now we're real. It's when the leader tells a story that is personal. He or she says, you know what, this was so challenging for me. But then I realized that I was the one that was holding myself back. And it was because this and this happened, maybe, in the past life. And that had an impact on the business. And I realized that I was the one that was creating some of the noise in the system.
Wow.
And I'm committed now to do things differently. That is just like, I get chills just talking about it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you, that I got it too.
So it's the realness. It's the we have a business, and we have to just be clear that we are here for developing a company that is serving the customers or serving the community, that is, being here for the greater good. I think that is more important. That's important more than ever. Taking social responsibilities, and that is not easy, right? So having a guiding star it's just really key.
Yeah, it's the key. Well, thank you, Monica, very much for being here with us today. It was literally so much I've got out of that. Because we talked in so many podcasts about all the visible parts, and as well some invisible, but now you really opened up that invisible part and let us dive under the iceberg and actually, look at it. And the storytelling, transformational storytelling part, I think if any CEO could take that and start doing that from tomorrow, would see how much it benefits the entire company.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.